On this week's Hockey Inside Out, we analyze the Canadiens' defense core and ask just how important Brendan Gallagher is to the team. Spoiler alert, he's very important. Welcome to this week's show. My name is Adam Susser. We have Mr. Dan Robertson from TSN 690, Jessica Rusnak from CBC Daybreak, and from hockey, Mr. Chris Nilan. During the second period of the Habs matinee against the Oilers on Sunday, Paul Byron absorbed a check from Edmonton's Matt Benning that would see him leave the Bell Centre with a splint on his left arm. Despite leaving the ice visibly frustrated, to put it gently, the whole thing could have been much worse. How big of a bullet did the Canadiens dodge when Paul Byron escaped what could have been a potentially serious injury to his left forearm?
I think they're really happy to hear that it wasn't to his shoulder because he just underwent surgery on it back in April, so that was probably the main concern there. But a guy like Paul Byron, just, right before he got suspended, Claude Julien was talking about what a good player he is to have not only on the ice, but in the locker room as well, and he can be that spark plug for them. So I think they really did dodge a big bullet by knowing that Paul Byron's injury is not super serious.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we all know what he can do speed-wise, and Jess touched on the fact that he's great in the room. I think what scared everybody is his reaction. Like you said, when he got hurt, he slammed his arm against the glass a few times, and the way he went in, I thought, and I even said it on the air, it's got the look of a long-term injury. But I think you see when he's out of the lineup, and Andrew Shaw too, they're a different team, right? I mean, the game against the Ducks, they had Pekka on with Max Domi, and it didn't really work, right? So I think you can put Byron wherever you want to put him, and he'll help. So the faster he gets back, the better.
Yeah, for sure. He misses speed, his leadership. He's a versatile player. Every year he ends up starting on the fourth line. He ends up on the top line. You put him on the second line. He kills penalties. You can put him on the power play in a pinch. He just leads by example. I think the biggest thing they miss from Paul Byron will be his leadership on the ice, because again, Drouin gets knocked a lot because he's not giving it out the effort all the time. He always has an issue. One game he's great, like last night, and then another game he kind of takes off. Byron, he leads by example. He's always going. He's pushing the pace. Doesn't always work out, but that effort level is always there, and that transcends down through the team.
Definitely fits in with the team's character this year. Gallagher scored his 20th and 21st goal in the 4-1 win over Anaheim on Tuesday night. He's on pace for another 30-goal season. How important is Gallagher to the team's success?
He's the heart and soul of this team. He has been basically since he got here. He worked his way up, but he's the same when I talk about, a little different than Byron. He's constantly got his nose in there. He's in around the net somewhere. He gets knocked down, he gets back up. He drives the net. He scores goals in the tough areas. Third period last night, he drove the net, come across in front, got a shot. He gets knocked down by Getzlaf, and he just, he didn't get up and be pissed off. He just said, that's part of the game. I'm going the net. I'm going to get hit. And God, he is the heart and soul. He's like he got the heart of a lion, the kid. I absolutely love him. His teammates do. The fans do. His mother and father love him.
I would hope so.
Yes, they did.
Well, he's one of 4 kids, so maybe they forgot about it.
No, lots of fighting too. Maybe that toughened him up. That's one thing I'd like to mention. We don't talk enough about, I think, is just how physically tough he is, right? And I'm not talking about, he's whatever, 5'8", 5'9". I just mean flat out tough, not drop your gloves tough, but the beating that he takes. And I mean, the length or the games where he's missed a long time were because his hand got mangled by a slap shot. It's not conceivable to me that this guy, doesn't get a concussion or a separated shoulder. I mean, it's like Chris said, I laughed when that happened. Yes, that's knock on fake wood. When Getzlaf mauled him over, he just, he gets his helmet knocked off, he'll just go over and pick it up. There's not a lot of players like that. It's really remarkable night in, night out.
And it makes me think about when he was first breaking into the league, everyone was so concerned with him. How many years can Brendan Gallagher play this way? That he might only have 3 years in him because then he's going to get seriously injured and not able to recover from it. But This is who he is, and I love that he proves everyone wrong every single time that they say that he can't continue to play at this pace. Well, he has, and I just like the environment that he brings to the locker room as well. Kotkaniemi, after the game, was joking about Brendan Gallagher and what Arturi Lehkonen said about him prior to joining the Canadiens, that, you know, he's a guy, he's very loud, and it's true, he is a very loud guy, which he was trying to get Brendan Gallagher's attention, but his scrum yesterday after the Ducks game was just so big he couldn't hear. But he's just has that really good, friendly dynamic that you want in the locker room that keeps everyone happy.
And Shea Weber is loud to the Finns. I mean, the Finns.
It's true.
Come on.
Carey Price and Shea Weber must be the loudest people to them.
And Gallagher's contract, too. What's he making? A little over three per year?
Yeah.
I mean, that is a tremendous signing a couple years ago. Really is.
Do you know how long he has left on that contract?
Is it the end of next year? I should know that. It's part of my job.
Like 2 years, I think.
Yeah, well, whatever it is, it's
not part of my job.
No.
He's in for a pay raise.
He is. Aren't we all?
Yeah, of course. Nicolas Deslauriers has earned a regular spot on the fourth line. Well, there's been many other players throughout the season that have rotated in and out. Do you think Deslauriers' spot is deserved?
I do. I know it's contentious. A lot of people early in the season were saying, why is he there? The game is, moving more and more towards speed, and that's not his game. But I still think there's a need for physical play, and he is the only guy who can do that up front, in a sense. I mean, he can hurt you with a hit. He can fight, and I like that. I mean, there are times you have to protect guys. I think he's had a longer leash for whatever reason on that fourth line than others have had. Maybe it's because starting with the year he had last year, but the fact that he brings a different dimension than a lot of players do. He's been a healthy scratch a couple of times, but more often than not, he's been out there, and others do. I don't really have a problem with it.
I think that's what you need on that fourth line, is just have one person that's a little bit more consistent. I know Claude Julien has spoken about the fourth line and the energy and having different guys and seeing different dynamics of players when he's throwing in Charles Hudon or Michael Chaput instead. But you know what? If Nicolas Deslauriers was playing on like the second line, then I would have more of an issue. But I think that's the role he is, and I think he's doing well in that role.
Yeah, he deserves to be there, no question about it. And again, some nights they may need him to fill that role where you have to step in and stick up for someone, or maybe change the game, try and change the game. And he's certainly a guy that can do that. Yeah, he's physical. He's maybe not quite as fast as the rest of his teammates, but that dimension that Dan was talking about, the Canadiens need that. It's great they have team speed and everything, but believe me, when the poop hits the fan, everybody will be looking for Nicolas.
It was interesting Saturday. Curtis Gabriel, it was his second game as a Devil. And Chico Resch told me before the game, he said, this guy, he's just dying to play, and he loves to fight. So, of course, he goes after Deslauriers, challenges him, and Nick said no. He drew a penalty. I talked with him the other day, and he said, I hated to turn him down. I said, why? He said, because I love to fight, with a big ear-to-ear grin. So he's willing in a day where not a lot of guys fight anymore.
That's good. Who, in your mind, has been the biggest surprise on the Canadiens' blue line so far this season?
I don't know if this is much of a surprise, but I really like the way that Victor Mete has been playing. That, yes, he did have a little bit of a stint in Laval, but for the most part, I think he's been progressing well and handling his role well, even though he's still looking to score his first goal. I think that he's able to not get frustrated by it, and he gave Carey Price a good laugh that time when he was on the bench. So I think he would be someone who's surprising just because of the way he's been able to progress.
I guess for me it's Kulak. He certainly, when he came in here, no one really knew who he was or what he could do. Good-sized kid. He's really stepped up to the plate here. He started out playing with Weber. He did okay. He certainly didn't look out of place. Then things got a little shaky for him, and he bounced back. I like the way he plays physical. He's assertive, skating with the puck. He'll jump up in the play. He pinches. I like this kid. For me, that was the biggest surprise, Kulak.
Yeah, in a sense, to me, it's Shea Weber, how when he came back right away, it's like he never left. But I'm going to say Jordy Ben, even though he struggled.
What, are you surprised he's still here?
Well, it's early yet. Yes, he could be traded. Who knows? But I like how he's gotten better, I think, as the season's gone. And he's in that role now with Kulak on the third pairing, and he's doing a good job killing penalties. And it's another guy who's taken a lot of heat, right? He's not a fast mover, whatever, but I think he makes a pretty good first pass for the most part. And overall, he's calmed his game down. He's one of those guys that I think if you don't really notice him, then he's doing all right. So that's not a bad third pairing. I mean, overall, obviously they want to make that defense better. And I don't know if he'll still be here when the trade deadline's come and gone, but I like what he's done so far.
Do you like the overall defense core that they have currently on the team, or do you think that Marc Bergevin should really go out there and try and acquire someone new?
I think they need to be better, but I don't think he should, and he said he won't. Like he said, I won't trade a first-round pick for rental. He can get creative, and I think he's good at that. Maybe find somebody who he thinks a change of scenery would help, like a Mike Riley or something like that. Overall, do I think they can go far in the playoffs with the defensive core the way it is now? Probably not, but they're better. They're better than I thought they would be when you look at that top six, or the six that they roll out there most times, but certainly not an elite top six.
Yeah, no, but there's nothing right now that he can really do, as Dan said, that Marc Bergevin does not want to give up the future for a short-term fix right now. So I think this is just the guys that they're going with. He might be able to throw in, you know, a little bit of a tweak to it, but I think this is basically what you see is what you get.
Yeah, I leave it like it is. Listen, they got Juleson down in Laval, who's, I don't know what the injury is or what's going on there, but he's rehabbing now, whatever it is. And then in a pinch, you have Alder and Schlemko down, right? So if they get in injury trouble, they have bodies that can fill in. Is it the defense that's going to take you through the playoffs? I don't believe so. But again, I would not touch, you know, the possibility of going out and making a trade, giving up draft picks, giving up players, and disrupting, you know, the chemistry you have on this team. I just wouldn't do it. I'd let them go as far as they can go with who they have here, and continue to build with the core you now have, and through the draft, not through trying to be fancy and going out and get this guy or that guy. And you're not going to get anybody that's really going to have an impact unless you're willing to give up warm bodies. And who are you going to? Everybody's going to want Gallagher. Everybody's going to want this guy or that guy. And it's just, you know, you don't get these guys for free, guys that are going to help your team.
Yeah, okay. That is our show for this week. We want to thank you all for tuning in. How do you feel about the Canadiens roster on defense? Who should they get rid of? Let us know in the comments section below. I'm Adam Susser, and I'll see you next Thursday.